Penn Law Global Women Leadership Project is a community of like-minded students from the most diverse and dynamic backgrounds that are committed to not only being smart and to thinking critically, but to also actually using these tools to make a difference and to impact the world at large.
I am involved in the Family Law Project, and that is a research project that compiles different family laws from around the world and looks at it according to various lenses of analysis. For example, divorce, equality, abortion, etc. And what we do is to kind of assess the different impacts of family law on gender dynamics. So my research focus was on Lebanon. Lebanon is compiled of different personal status laws that govern the relationships between men and women. And my main interesting findings were that despite the fact that there are such disparate impacts between the 15 different religious courts that govern personal status laws, there are attempts by civil society to nationalize certain standards. For example, setting the national minimum age of marriage to 18, whereas some religious communities in different Catholic and Muslim faiths have it as low as 15. So there are attempts by civil society to kind of standardize different forms of personal status laws.
So I got the chance to participate in the Penn Global Research Seminar and travel to India. And as part of this, I met human rights attorney Indira Jaising. And she's really interesting and inspiring for a couple reasons. First, she is senior counsel in India in a time and place when not a lot of women are in this position, and she's able to assert this leadership role. And then secondly, I met her in a time when she had just penned this letter about her experience in court, being referred to as wife and being referred to in sexist terms. And it was really inspiring to me that she's not only advocates for people in her legal work, but also is able to advocate for herself and address this sort of discrimination on the ground. And the article received a ton of publicity and hopefully has some sort of positive impact in the way women and females who are attorneys in India and also in other places are treated.
So recently we had a town hall where a number of students presented the biggest problems in international law and policy, and then alternatively presented solutions. And part of that was to present to a couple of deans at the law school and the former UN High Commissioner for Human Rights. And what was so amazing about that process was not just presenting to a critical audience that gave suggestions and innovations and alterations onto your own policy theory, but to have a group of students supporting us and creating a mini think tank at Penn where we were able to find a way to innovate on our own ideas and also to come together as a group of leaders. And honestly, that was one of the most important experiences for me this year and at my time at Penn.
Penn Law and Rangita has really held true to what my first impression was, if not exceeded my expectations. FGM is a topic that particularly I feel strongly about, and just women's international human rights issues in general. And so it's great to have this platform here through her class, and through the work that I'm doing and the research I'm doing for her, to actually delve into those issues and feel like I can make a difference in those fields. I think also knowing the specific toolboxes and routes, I think being able to question the Egypt's foreign minister on populations was a really great opportunity, because I learned a lot about her work in criminalizing FGM in Egypt. And that perspective was really useful because she talked about how you can't start with drafting the bill, you have to start with reaching out to the community. And she kind of gave me her step-by-step path of how she achieved her goal in the end. And I think that was something those are things you don't learn out of a textbook. Those are things you only learn from talking to the people who have already set that path in a different country. And so that was an experience that I don't know if I would have ever had anywhere else, that I'm really grateful for.
This fall, I had the opportunity to discuss diversity in the legal profession with Carolyn Edgar. It is extremely important to the success of the profession that women of color are given opportunities to thrive it is important that Penn Law equip us with the resources to chart our own path.
I'm in the International Women's Rights class with Dean De Silva, and I'm here to talk about the Penn Law Women's Feminism podcast. I had the opportunity to record an episode with my friend Sophia Galkin about her time lobstering in Maine, and I think it's an extremely important part of learning about feminism in this class is that there's a real gap between the daily lives of men, the daily lives of women, and what this podcast does is it gives women at Penn Law the opportunity to talk about their experience and to kind of learn less about maybe the overtly political issues, but more about just the day-to-day experience, which can really help inform all of our political thoughts and how we should be kind of trying to shape the world to mitigate the worst effects of patriarchy on people's lives.
In Their Own Voice, Penn Law Women and Men on Feminism is a really wonderful podcast in terms of providing a platform for students like me to take stories that they felt were just kind of personal and not consequential in any real way beyond their own life, and I would say almost weaponize them for informing policy and being able to have a more inclusive world.
These aren't just issues that some people deal with on a daily basis. They're issues that plague our world and that actually have an impact on every single person, which corresponds to a moral obligation to actually make a difference and to fix these problems. And by sitting with these students who come from all these backgrounds, by sitting at the table in Rangita's classroom on women, peace, and security and talking about these things, we're really preparing ourselves to sit with like-minded people in the future who represent all 192 UN membership countries and to use the legal tools, to use the policy considerations to actually make a difference, to actually help every single citizen of the world.